Hey everyone, and welcome to the June Bindplane Community Call. This time, it's only me, and I would like to welcome you to the June edition of the Community Call. I'll be your host for today. My name is Adnan, and I do developer relations here at Bindplane. And boy, has the dust finally settled from our first ever Bindplane launch week we did at the beginning of June. We have a bunch of cool recaps to do today, a bunch of new cool announcements for upcoming events as well. And yeah, let's just jump right in. Obviously, as always, we start with the agenda. So we have 3 topics that we're going to fit within the next, I'm going to say 30 minutes or so. And then, of course, we'll dive into some Bindplane architecture, some new features, and of course, for all of our community members, we'll do some community updates as well. But as always, we're going to start quick with a Bindplane 101. So this is for all of our new community members that might not have heard this before. And yeah, let's jump in. So Bindplane is essentially an OpenTelemetry native telemetry pipeline. So the core functionality is to provide a unified platform where you can manage and monitor all of your telemetry data, no matter where it's going from and where it's going to. So no matter which source or destination you're using. And yeah, the point of Bindplane is to make it super easy to collect, process, and export all of this telemetry, because first, it's obviously vendor agnostic and it's built on OpenTelemetry standards. So this makes it super easy to manage a fleet of collectors, meaning that you can scale your infrastructure and your telemetry across your infrastructure more efficiently at scale. And then this obviously all boils down to cost efficiency. So it's super easy to use processors that are built into or built with OpenTelemetry via Bindplane, where you can reduce the amount of telemetry you're exporting. You can do processing to significantly compress and deduplicate that data as well. So, and then of course, a bit of a update for the Bindplane editions. So we obviously have the free edition, which you can use both self-hosted and in the cloud. But for specifically 2 Google editions that we do provide, we have first the basic Bindplane Google edition, and that's actually free for all of customers using Google Cloud Operations and Google SecOps. And you basically get everything across the board with regards to features. But you don't get all destinations. So you can only send to Google specific destinations. This actually also is mirrored in the Bindplane Enterprise Google Edition, but you get the option of extended features for masking sensitive PII data. You get advanced data filtering, you get advanced data dedupe and compression, but you also get the option to do data migration. So for 12 months, you can send to 1 additional destination that isn't within Google. So that means if you're migrating away from another CM or whatever else observability backend that you're using, you can do that very effortless. And then of course, the ultimate Bindplane Enterprise is fully featured with basically everything, and you can also send to any destination. Yeah, that's a quick rundown of the additions. And then, of course, I want to take you through the architecture quickly so you have a visual representation of exactly what's happening. So specifically for this overview, this is showing cloud, but it is mirrored in self-hosted Bindplane as well. So there's no real changes or differences between the two. Now, if we look at the diagram here, the middle part is where you have your network, and that's where you're running the collectors. And they are responsible for gathering all of the telemetry data from your systems and then ultimately sending them to your observability vendors or SIEM vendors or any telemetry backend that you're using. Then on the left side, you have the plane, and that's the central control plane, so Bindplane, that essentially lets you manage and monitor these collectors. Then the way this communication happens is via something called the op-amp protocol. And that happens between the collectors and the plane itself. Now, of course, you can use the B.dot collector, so the Bindplane distro for OpenTelemetry collector that's managed by Bindplane, because it's actually the first distro to ever support built-in feature support for op-amp. But you can also use your custom build collector as well, as long as it's built with the op-amp extension as well. Now, the way this works is that it's actually the collector that initiates the op-amp connection to Bindplane. So no telemetry really flows through Bindplane. It only flows through the collectors. And that's a pretty important security point to look into, because you can get a snapshot preview of the data flowing through your collectors from Bindplane, but no data actually goes through Bindplane. So even if you take Bindplane out of the equation, your collectors will still continue to work and send data, send telemetry from the source and to your destination just fine. Bindplane is just a control plane to make your life easier and make it so much simpler to both manage, update, push configs, and basically do everything you want to do with your collectors in a more efficient way. Now, with that out of the way, we are going to jump right into the updates for what we did in the last month. So it's not a secret. Early June was a whirlwind for us here at Bindplane. We did our first ever launch week where we launched 5 new features in 5 days. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. The quick recap we're going to do today is going to take us through just the I'm going to say most interesting and fun highlights. But in a nutshell, what we did do is that we launched 8 new integrations. We have launched the Bring Your Own Collector with the OTel distro builder. So that's currently in preview as well. One of the biggest things is that we now support scale to where basically you don't ever have to worry about scale ever again. Right now, Bindplane is capable of supporting and managing 1 million collectors. And that's just next level crazy that's even a possibility, right? And then, of course, we did launch blueprints, which are essentially pre-built processor bundles. That's super cool, just because you don't really have to rebuild the processor bundles that you use quite often. It's just going to be part of the blueprints. We're going to launch more and more of those as we go forward, but yeah, and hopefully we're going to do a marketplace for blueprints as well. So that's going to be a nice little community addition within the next couple of months. And then we also did jump onto the LLM bandwagon, where we're going to be pushing out many more AI supported integrations. The first one is actually a regex log parser. So it's actually walking you through, or basically doing the regex parsing for you. And then, of course, my favorite is dark mode. We finally have a dark mode. I'm going to walk you through all of this in a demo in a second. And I'll also show you quickly the updates that we have in the how-to guides and the docs, specifically the SSO, which is now in live preview as well. So finally, for our enterprise customers and everybody out there that actually wants to use SSO and needs to use SSO, it is now a possibility. Let me just switch into a quick little demo. Now, the first thing I really want to show, let me pop over right here. The first thing I want to show is, I think I'm going to do this demo in dark mode just because. The first demo is, I want to show you quickly a bit about blueprints, and I want to show you the AI LLM supported regex log parser. So first and foremost, let me show you this source right here. It's just a little JSON logs source. And what's happening is that I'm using a processor bundle called JSON, parse JSON bundle. Now, what it's doing, it's packaging 3 processors, a parse JSON, a parse timestamp, and a delete fields. And what it's doing is that it's grabbing this JSON string from the body and parsing out the fields within it. It's also setting the time to be an actual correct timestamp. Now, I've done nothing myself here. I literally added a blueprint, I added the processor bundle that that blueprint did generate to this particular processor, and that's it. I just get this out of the box, and I can reuse it for all of the, basically any processor I really want to. And what's cool here is that once Bindplane sees that you have this processor bundle enabled, the recommendation engine kicks in right away. So it's going to tell me, okay, so do you also want to parse severity with default values? I'll just go ahead and say, yeah. And then I can also do delete parse fields. Don't mind if I do. And I can also filter out debug logs if I don't want to have debug logs. I'll go ahead and accept that as well. And now you can see that if you look at the right side, I can see that my body has been transformed into this particular field and value structure. And I have this log field here with severity number and severity text. And that is pretty cool that I can just automatically drop all of that in. But even cooler is if I take a look at this. So this is just basic Apache HTTP source. And if I jump in here, there is this parse with regex processor. So what it essentially does is that it lets me pick a field, and it parses it based on a regex pattern. Now this regex pattern is pretty complex. I did not write this. The LLM integration did. So I can go ahead and say generate. It's going to give me a suggested regex. It's going to explain exactly what it does. And I can go ahead and either use this response or generate a new suggestion, or dismiss it if I don't want it. But this particular one that I did generate, it has, as you can see on the left side, grabbed this particularly complex body log, or this field, and it has broken it into several fields and values. And this is literally, I have done nothing. I have asked the processor to check with the LLM and create a regex pattern for me. And then again, we get the same thing with the recommendation engine, is that once I get these fields parsed, I can go ahead and say, yeah, I want to go ahead and use the delete empty fields. And this is going to, again, reduce the size of my log fields. And of course, just so you know, for the AI, the LLM integration, this is something that you need to specifically enable. So you need to opt in for this. It's actually all written in our terms of service. The AIs are not training on your data. The actual AI is only getting a sample of your log. So it's just grabbing one sample log, and based on that, it's figuring out the regex pattern. And of course, it's up to you to enable it if you want to, if you think that that's okay, but it's not something that's going to be enabled by default. You're not going to be forced into using it. Yeah, pretty cool. And then one more thing I do really want to show you is that if we jump into the BYOC, so one thing that we've actually been commonly asked for, actually pretty often have the question about the BYOC, is that I want to run you through how that would essentially work for you if you're building a custom collector. So right now I do have, you can see that this agent type is OTel Distro Builder Demo. So this is a custom agent type, and this is a custom collector that I built. And let me show you how. So if I jump over to GitHub, I have this repository called OTel Distro Builder Demo. And essentially what this does is that it's using the OTel Distro Builder GitHub action that we've actually open sourced here at Bindplane. So what does it essentially do? So the GitHub workflow here, it's again setting up all of the platforms I want my collector to be built for, and then I'm using the OTel Distro Builder GitHub action, and then all of the artifacts that it's going to build are going to be put into the releases for this particular GitHub repo. And then, of course, I'm using the manifest file. So I'm passing in the manifest file as well for the GitHub action to know exactly which receivers, exporters, extensions, etc. I want to have in my collector. So if I jump over to the releases themselves, right here, I can see all of the artifacts that I'm getting and that I can essentially use for my collector. So how this works in Bindplane is, let me jump back over here. You add this particular GitHub repository as a custom agent type. So I've added it here as an OTel distro builder demo, and I'm going to want to use the Linux platform, and I'm going to hit next. So this is the automated install script you get from Bindplane. And what I did, I just copied this, put it in a Linux server. I just did this before, so you don't have to look or watch me copy paste things into a terminal. And what happened was that I got this agent running, and it's immediately, because of the automated install command, it's pre-configured with all of the environment variables that it needs to be connected and visible in Bindplane. And to sit, I have my collector running. I've set up a config. So if I jump over to my config here, I have my config running, and I have obviously a telemetry generator sending to dev null. But the kicker here is that, because if I jump back to the manifest file, you can see that currently the receivers I have in my manifest file, I only have 4. So the NoOp, OTLP, host metrics, and the telemetry gen. If I go and look at the options for my sources, you can see that those are the only ones that are available. All of the rest of them are incompatible, which means that Bindplane won't let me build a config with receivers that are incompatible with my custom collector. And that is really cool. And obviously the same thing is for the destinations as well, where if I scroll down, you can see, yeah, you have all of these incompatible destinations here as well. That is freaking cool. Yeah, I can't wait to get this out of early access and preview, and so we can finally push this to all of our users. So we're currently gradually pushing it out, but it should be ready for general access very, very soon. And yeah, one last thing I also want to show is that all of the new integrations that we have, you can use Windows Event Trace, NetFlow, CrowdStrike. But what's also super cool is that we have rehydration for S3, and we also finally have blob storage destinations for both S3 and cloud storage. So we have all of the S3 compatible storage types, both as sources and destinations, are all covered. So you can feel safe with essentially using anything across the board for that as of now. And yeah, the last part of the demo is something I think a lot of our customers are super excited about, because we've had a lot of questions about SSO. Currently, you can also check the docs under our how-to guides and single sign-on. You can see how you can enable the SSO, and I really just want to show you how what that would look like as well. There we go. You have this, obviously sign in with Google, email, password, and then you have this continue with SSO. So super easy, super simple, and yeah, if you want to give it a try right away, you can reach out to us through the community Slack or via email to the support email. And yeah, we can get you set up right away. Cool. Now, let me jump back into the slides for a little community update. And yeah, this last month of May has been super, super cool for us from a community point of view, primarily because of we got invited to the Google Cloud Security Community. So Matt from their team invited Craig and Denton from Bindplane, from our team, to do a SecOps webinar with him. So I mean, it's out on YouTube right now. So I've linked it here in the slides, and obviously I'm going to share the slides in the shared Google Calendar we have for the community calls. And you can check out the recording for that. Super happy to see that happen, and the collaboration that we have going with the Google Cloud Security Community. And yeah, really hoping to do more of those throughout the summer, so you should definitely stay tuned for that. And yeah, jump into their community as well. They do have a community, a forum that you can follow along and get all of the updates there as well. And then Craig, that I just mentioned, and myself, we did a session, a hands-on session at the Google New York City user group. It was super fun, and we are still waiting for the recording if you want to check that out. But it shouldn't be that long. You can also tune in for in the Bindplane Community Slack. We obviously post all of our updates there, and once we do get the recording, we're definitely going to share it with you in the announcements channel in the Slack community. And then for upcoming things that are going to be coming up very soon, so the end of this month, it's the Open Observability Summit and the OTel Community Day. Specifically, I think this is a really cool thing to join if you're anywhere close, if you have the opportunity to join. First, because Denton from our team is doing a presentation, so definitely stay tuned for that. But also, I'm going to say specifically myself, but also the team. We're super proud because we're actually a platinum sponsor at the OTel Community Day, and that goes along with Bindplane's philosophy of we want to be pushing OTel to become the golden standard for telemetry. Like, we want to get OTel as good as it can possibly be, and push the community along. So yeah, you can go ahead and register to the OTel Community Day. You can hopefully, if you have the opportunity to go, then you should definitely go. And yeah, I want to stay respectful of your time, so I don't want to take more of your time away. So we're at roughly the 20-minute mark right now, and yeah, if we don't have any questions, let me just quickly see. Okay. If not, you can always just post your questions after the fact in the Bindplane Slack community as well. And yeah, and let me do a quick recap and round out what we talked about today. First ever launch week is done. Super happy that we got such a nice reception from you in the community. Hopefully we're going to do one more in a couple of months. And then, of course, we have new how-to guides in the documentation and the SSO guide. That's specifically really fun to have a read if you want to see that. And then, of course, as I mentioned, the OTel Community Day, June 26th. So write that down if you plan on going, if you want to go. Denton is doing a talk called Building Resilient Telemetry Pipelines, Mastering the Open Telemetry Collector's Persistent Queue. And it is going to be cool. I'm not gonna do any spoilers, but I did hear a few dry runs and a few ideas with Denton, and yeah, I'm really sad that I can't go and see him live. It's going to be really cool. So you definitely should go see if you have the opportunity. And yeah, as I said, I'm gonna be respectful of your time, and I'm gonna cut it short right here. Yeah, until next time, till next month. Yeah, have a nice rest of your day.